Hey, guess what? Bob is back, now at 106.3, playing the 80s, 90s, and whatever.
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Check us out, the new Bob 106.3.
Hey South Mississippi, it's Jay Allen at Jay Allen Toyota, and I got something new for you for 2021. It's the Jay Allen Certified Collection. What that means is we selected our very best inventory with under 75,000 miles and they're 6 years old or newer. That comes with a multi-point inspection, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and a 3-day buyback guarantee. So come check out the Jay Allen Certified Pre-Owned Collection right here, I-10 exit 38 in Gulfport, or on allentoyota.com.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking very hard-to-find PPE items to make our community a safer place. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. They were even sending thousands of dollars of PPE supplies free to local schools in need with help from other local business leaders. The next time your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider a local company that supports your ball teams, cheerleaders, and area homeless. Consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply, the local guys that keep your prices fair, your service and selection excellent, and your health our business. Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
SuperTalk.fm has a new look and is more informative than ever with expanded Mississippi news coverage, the latest Mississippi weather, Mississippi sports, and of course, the talk that's important to you. Every show, every podcast, and every late-breaking story. Constantly updating the news the second new developments happen. All in one place. The new SuperTalk.fm. Feeling down? Here's your prescription for a daily dose of good news and positive vibes. Good Things with Rebecca Turner. Every afternoon, Rebecca highlights all the good things happening right here in the state you call home. Daily exposure to Good Things with Rebecca Turner may cause smiling, feelings of positivity, happiness, and even laughter. When you experience these symptoms, tell your friends to listen.
Okay.
Weekdays starting at 2 p.m. here on SuperTalk Mississippi and now on Amazon Alexa devices.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show. Every day, we're driving the debate in America with the fastest moving, hardest hitting, most comprehensive, fact-based commentary on the radio. We don't hold back. We never shy away from telling you the truth. Our show is a meeting place of ideas. We have the most important guests and the biggest thinkers in America.
Weeknights at 9.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show.
On SuperTalk Mississippi. SuperTalk Mississippi.
From outer space, visitors from another world. We've had contact with bug-eyed monsters.
This is actually a flying saucer.
Flying saucer?
I'm from another planet.
Where late nights are kind of weird.
Well, they must have a reason for their visit.
The unexplained, the weird, and the downright creepy. Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Late nights. SuperTalk Mississippi. What decisions are being made by state lawmakers, and how will they affect you, your family, and community? If you listen, you'll know. SuperTalk Mississippi, the SuperTalk app, and at supertalk.fm.
Hi, I'm Billy Kinder, host of Big Billy Kinder Outdoors. Here the show Saturdays at 1, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi. Turkeys, whitetail, Grenada Lake crappie, or Gulfport redfish. We enjoy it all, especially when you're in camp with us on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Hey, I'm Steve Azar, and you never know who or what you'll hear when I spend a Mississippi Minute with my friends. We are with the fabulous Norbert Putnam as he played on so many hit records, you can't count them, and produced for some of the biggest acts ever. We got to talk Jimmy Buffett.
One day at breakfast, he says, I started a new song. He says, about a night and a day in Key West, I played a bar and I got drunk, and coming home, I stepped out of my flip-flop, and I just kept going. I stepped on a beer can. And the next morning, I'm up, and I'm hungover, and I'm trying to make a margarita. I got some shrimp boiling. I can't find the salt. I said, Jimmy, I kind of like this. And he said, yeah, I think I'll call it Margaritaville.
In a Mississippi Minute.
Be sure to check out In a Mississippi Minute with me, Steve Azar, right here on your local SuperTalk Mississippi station and now on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher.
If Alexa's part of your life, you've got one more way to access SuperTalk. SuperTalk Mississippi is now available on Amazon Alexa devices. Once enabled, just say, Alexa, play SuperTalk Mississippi at any time and start listening. It's that easy. Just one more way to stay informed and connected with your state. Learn more at supertalk.fm/Alexa. SuperTalk Mississippi. SuperTalk Mississippi. Now available on Amazon Alexa devices.
Hey, guess what? Bob is back, now at 106.3, playing the 80s, 90s, and whatever.
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Check us out, the new Bob 106.3.
And now, it's Coast Vue with Ricky Mathews. Brought to you by J. Allen Toyota and AGJ Systems and Networks on SuperTalk 103.1 FM.
Welcome to Coast Vue, the show that celebrates the men and women who are making coastal Mississippi such a special place to live, work, and play. Hey, here we are. Thanksgiving is behind us. We're full scale into the holiday season. Everyone's enjoying being in the outdoors. It's that time of year. We got Christmas in the air, Christmas and crispness in the air. Small businesses are thriving all along coastal Mississippi today, because we've created these wonderful walkable communities where people can go find those unique gifts and so on. What a great time of year it is. And I've really been looking forward to visiting with my next guest, Craig Ray, who is the director of Visit Mississippi for the Tourism Office of the Mississippi Development Authority. And we'll remind you what Visit Mississippi is all about. And we're just going to do some catching up because we haven't had the opportunity to visit with Craig in quite a while. So first of all, let me just welcome you to Coast Vue, Craig.
Thanks for having me, Ricky. It was great to be invited for the show. It's a great time of year for an update. A lot of great things are happening in our world, and right into the holiday season. We just finished Mistletoe Marketplace here in town, and right in the middle of the end, wrapping up SEC football and all the great weekends at our college towns and getting ready for Christmas. So all good right now.
Well, I know it's always fast and furious in your world, and what we'll do, because you guys assume that some people have not heard our conversations before, and we'll sort of remind them about the various trails and why they're important to Mississippi and what's going on these days, what's the numbers looking like, because Mississippi, compared to the rest of the nation as it relates to tourism, has performed incredibly well in this pandemic moment that we're in. But before we get into all of that, I want to ask you, I can't help but ask you, have you seen our friend Steve Azar lately?
Well, I have actually. We're working on an event that's taking place, what will be this week, in the first week of December in New Orleans. It's our first event, big international event that we're hosting, Travel South USA International in New Orleans. We have guests coming in from 19 different countries that will be there. It's a travel tour operator event that Louisiana and we're co-hosting with. And Steve and Cedric Burnside and Raphael Sims are the entertainment for the breakfast that we're hosting. So I've been working with Steve hand in hand a lot recently on fine-tuning our program. And so that'll be a lot of fun, having those three singing about all of Mississippi and taking us around the state. So as always, Steve and I get to be involved in all the fun activities for Mississippi music, tourism, and culture. So he's doing real well.
Well, yeah, he and I too am thrilled that my new show, Super Talk Outdoors, has as a theme song, One Mississippi. I'm so excited about that song. And Steve's contributions to this state through his as the music and cultural ambassador for the state, which you get to work closely with him for that. Hey, we'll go a little deeper into some of those parts of the conversation. But before I say anything else, just to respond specifically to the notion of Cedric Burnside and Steve being together, I'm assuming they'll sing Cold Water as part of their agenda there.
Well, the program that we're hosting is actually a trails themed breakfast. So we're going to be highlighting Freedom Trail, the Blues Trail, the Country Music Trail, and the Writers Trail. So we've tasked Cedric, Steve, and Raphael to do a highlight reel on, so it'll be cover songs. They're going to be singing Sam Cooke, B.B. King, some Faith Hill, some just think about those trails and highlighting our trails and music related to those trails. So it will be an opportunity maybe for them to sing one of their songs, but the most will be just cover music highlighting our trails program. So we're excited, and they're looking forward to singing some Blue Christmas with Elvis Presley and singing some gospel tunes. And so it's gonna be a fun half an hour for our international travelers that are here to hear all of this great music about our trails program.
Wow, that's so cool. I'm hoping that you guys are going to video that, because
We
what
will.
a great collaboration. What a cool idea.
Well, we come up with some very cool ideas here at Visit Mississippi, and when you're hanging out with guys like Steve and Cedric and Raphael, the creative juices just flow. And we were talking about this program that we have put together, and we have a cool video too that I will share with your show too, about our trails program that we'll add music to. So it's gonna be fun. It's a great way to mass market to this. When I say these 18 states that are represented, they are not only travel writers from those states, but also travel agents and group tour bookings from those countries. But there'll be some international travel writers there as well. So when we're performing here, you're reaching out to the world from this show in New Orleans. So we're very excited about the event.
So I mentioned Coldwater. So if you haven't heard the song Coldwater, go to YouTube and just look it up. It's a collaboration between Cedric Burnside and Steve Azar. They actually, the video is actually filmed at the Delta State recording studio, which is that's a world-class recording studio.
At DMI, wasn't it?
Yeah. So Cedric Burnside, you should go look him up in Wikipedia, and what you'll learn about him is that not only is he a prolific artist that is incredibly popular in places like Europe, but his father and grandfather were famous blues drummers. Cedric is also a drummer, but he's just a sort of a multi-talented, multi-instrument talented guy, as Steve is. And anytime these guys can come together, I mean, one of the cool things about what you've done with keeping the focus on the trails and keeping people like them involved is that, well, first of all, it probably makes your job pretty darn fun, but it also helps to literally show people these legends that are alive and well and contributing back to the state. That's a pretty cool part of your job, isn't it?
It's very cool, a lot of fun. And what's great on the Blues Trail side is there's no competition. The blues were developed and founded here in Mississippi. No one questions that. We have 175 Blues Trail markers here in the state, another probably 35 in 7 other states and 5 countries. And so when we're in this water, in this world of planning the Blues Trail, marketing and also promoting it, knowing that no one else is breathing our back or down what we're doing, because we have this product and it's ours to share with the world. So that, to me, that makes it even more fun that we've been able to back in Governor Barber that lit the match that put this Blues Commission together with the goal of developing this Blues Trail and to be where we are. It's been a lot of fun, and it will be here forever and ever. It will just grow on how we market it and how we develop it and promote it. And having guys like Steve and Cedric to be a part of our team is just amazing. Cedric, by the way, is one of the best drummers in the world.
Yeah.
In the blues arena, without a doubt.
Yeah, he is one talented dude. As you know, I'm a drummer. You know, I guess once a drummer, always a drummer. So I have a deep appreciation for what Cedric does. You know, when you think about the blues in Mississippi, you're right. I mean, we're the birthplace of American music, and we'll come to that in just a second. But you think about the blues impact, and as you know, I'm kind of a aficionado on Robert Johnson, and even today, when you hear Eric Clapton or you hear some of the music that Steve and Cedric do, you know, this riff that comes out of the way that Robert Johnson played his guitar he has such a unique approach, man. It's sad, actually, that Robert Johnson gets discovered 40 years after his death. He only recorded 29 songs. He died when he was 27. But to have a guy like that have such a great impact, not be discovered to 40 years after he died, he wasn't alone in that, because obviously there were a lot of exploration that came after that because of the impact of those early blues musicians. But to be able to immortalize them the way we've been able to immortalize them with the Blues Trail is, you know, as you said so many times on my show, it creates the largest outdoor museum in the United States. And that is, I mean, that it's not only undeniable, but it's unique and it is exciting to see. I mean, when I'm at my place in the Delta, I see tags from all over the United States, you know, on the most, distant rural roads, because I know they're headed to some blues marker somewhere. We see that all over the state, don't we?
We sure do. And, you know, that might be a nice segue to talk about our international travelers. As of November 8th, the United States has opened our doors for our international travelers with COVID restrictions, but allowing people to once again visit the United States from around the world that are qualified and have been vaccinated. Ricky, our pre-COVID, we were in our third record year in a row for not only international travelers, but for all travelers to the state. And we had a record 185,000 international travelers that were coming to our state, spending $189 million. And I guarantee you, probably 75% of those were music, tourism, and culinary related. Yeah. And so we're excited that they're coming back, and we're excited them to come to the Delta and visit all of our museums and our trail programs.
It is a big deal. Hey, when we come back, we'll continue our conversation, and I want to just briefly reflect on the passing of our friend Bill Luckett and his significance to the state. But we'll continue our conversation on the other side.
Coast Vue on SuperTalk 103.1 is brought to you by J. Allen Toyota on I-10 exit 38 Gulfport. See all the incredible inventory at allentoyota.com. And remember, when you think Toyota, think J. Allen Toyota.
It's 2021 and J. Allen Toyota still has a lifetime warranty on all new Toyotas. They all come with Toyota Care. We've got a great rental department. We've got great used cars. We've got a parts and service department ready to help you. So when you think Toyota, think J. Allen Toyota.
If Alexa's part of your life, you've got one more way to access SuperTalk. SuperTalk Mississippi is now available on Amazon Alexa devices. Once enabled, just say, Alexa, play SuperTalk Mississippi at any time and start listening. It's that easy. Just one more way to stay informed and connected with your state. Learn more at supertalk.fm/Alexa. SuperTalk Mississippi. SuperTalk Mississippi. Now available on Amazon Alexa devices.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking hard-to-find PPE items. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. When your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
Thousands of Bulldog fans have subscribed to the Thunder and Lightning podcast. Have you? On each episode, Brian Haydad and Joel Coleman give you an inside look at your Mississippi State Bulldogs. The Thunder and Lightning podcast is free and available on demand at supertalk.fm and on your smartphone. Just search for Thunder and Lightning on iTunes, Google Play, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. Thunder and Lightning from SuperTalk, Mississippi, covering the Bulldogs like no one else. SuperTalk Mississippi.
From outer space, visitors from another world. We've had contact with bug-eyed monsters.
This is actually a flying saucer.
Flying saucer?
I'm from another planet.
where late nights are kind of weird.
Well, they must have a reason for their visit.
The unexplained, the weird, and the downright creepy. Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Late nights. Super Talk, Mississippi. Feeling down? Here's your prescription for a daily dose of good news and positive vibes. Good Things with Rebecca Turner. Every afternoon, Rebecca highlights all the good things happening right here in the state you call home. Daily exposure to Good Things with Rebecca Turner may cause smiling, feelings of positivity, happiness, and even laughter. When you experience these symptoms, tell your friends to listen. Okay. Weekdays starting at 2 p.m. here on Super Talk Mississippi and now on Amazon Alexa devices.
Hey, guess what? Bob is back. Now at 106.3, playing the 80s, 90s, and whatever.
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Check us out. The new Bob 106.3.
Talking to the people that help make the coast such a unique place to live. This is Coast Vue with Ricky Mathews on Super Talk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Well, look, one of the great benefits I have of doing the show is becoming closer friends with people like Craig Ray from Visit Mississippi, and to see his passion for this great state. And so when we're having a conversation about blues, we can't help but focus for a second on a really important and sad recent death of Bill Luckett. Now, for people who don't know who Bill Luckett is, he and Morgan Freeman collaborated to create the Ground Zero Blues Club in Clarksdale. And we're not just talking about collaborating to create sort of a place where blues can be played, but the role that they played was so significant. And Morgan Freeman lives in Mississippi, built a house here. He's incredibly passionate. One of the things, Craig, that Morgan said along the way, and I've reflected on this with Bill Luckett when he was on Coast Vue, and we talked about this, but he said, this is what Morgan says, that you've not lived till you come through Mississippi. It's not only the epicenter of blues, but people who come to Mississippi say, I've never met people so open, so friendly. And then he goes on to say Southern hospitality. I mean, he loves it. But, they collaborated to literally impact blues lovers from around the world in a very significant way, didn't they, Craig?
Well, they sure did. And their legacy still continues and will forever. And what they did is they created a place. I mean, Ground Zero wasn't an old juke joint that was there forever and ever. It was an old cotton store bin that they created into a cool venue in the heart of the blues in Clarksdale, and gave that city a place where it could hold, maybe a couple hundred people and have live blues music. But what they did is they not only built it, and they were there. I mean, I can't tell you, for my first 5 years, from 2004 to 2009, during that time frame, we would bring in travel writers and guests from all over the country. And we knew if Morgan Freeman wasn't making a film in Hollywood or somewhere, he was at home in Charleston and he was over at the Blues Club. You could just go, and he was there, and Bill Luckett was there with him, welcoming every guest that came in, buying a drink, shooting a game of pool, getting up on stage with the blues band. And it was real. It was like, hey, let's go to Ground Zero, see this beautiful club, hear all these great blues artists. When it opened up, it was strictly blues, no other genre of music. They've opened up to all genre now. And you can meet Morgan Freeman and Bill Luckett. They were there all the time, almost 100% of the time. And you didn't have to call and schedule a time. If they were in town, they were there. And it was real. You could put your arms around it, and they supported us, what we did and what we're doing in the local CVB. So it was a real long-lasting love and experience that they created for travelers, and a brand that we were able to share. What a cool name, Ground Zero Blues Club, owned by Morgan Freeman, Bill Luckett. I mean, and then it brought in so many other international investors, people that want to come and visit Clarksdale. When they were there, they fell in love, and they bought other buildings and fixed them up into new mixed use, cool loft apartments, condos, restaurants, But that was the match that was lit, was when Morgan and Bill opened up that club. In my very humble opinion.
So you have John Lee Hooker and Sam Cooke and Ike Turner and Muddy Waters and Robert Johnson, supposedly, as the story goes, sold his soul to the devil at the crossroads at 61 and 49. And then in town today, you got Big A and Super Chicken and Lala and Stan, all these interesting people that are part of it. And, you know, it's interesting because people wonder about the European piece. And one of the things that Bill Luckett told me, God rest his soul, and what a terrific leader he was in this regard. But one of the things he told me, you could go there at any given time and see people from all over Europe, people from Australia. And I think, you know, Eric Clapton and Robert Plant and Bob Dylan and Keith Richards, all these guys were impacted by this, by what was happening in the Delta and what had happened in the Delta from a music scene point of view. And this whole notion of the British blues rose out of that. And that's why someone like Cedric Burnside can go to Europe today. And he's more popular in Europe than he is in Mississippi.
Absolutely.
I mean, in some ways, we kind of take this for granted, don't we, Craig?
We sure do. I mean, all of our young artists like Kingfish will have his first international tour this January and February, of which we're going to be a part of and help sponsor that tour. I mean, he's from Clarksdale. I mean, he grew up. I saw him play his very first time on stage when he was like 8 years old during Juke Joint Festival. I mean, he's a homegrown artist, and Cedric from Northeast Mississippi. And these guys can play on the world scale, the world scene. And like you said, like Wembley Stadium, and play all over Europe and get make a great living there. We take it for granted when they come home and play at the club. Say, man, do you know who these guys are? They're the next.
Kingfish is for sure one of the bright young stars coming out of this scene in Mississippi, and again, he's extremely popular in Europe as well.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about him is that he sort of discovered his love for Delta blues at the Delta Music Museum.
Yes.
And was part of the music program there, and was plucked out of this group of young people. Had that not been there, just think about it, we may not even be talking about Kingfish today.
That's right.
What a great story. But coming back to Bill Luckett, what he's done there in Clarksdale cannot be overstated. And you know, people like Christine Ingram, who we just talked about, Kingfish, and so many other young people really owe a debt of gratitude to Bill for his continued focus over so many years. Because when they started the Ground Zero Blues Club, Clarksdale was dying on the vine, and now, you know, it's you know, the blues clubs are like the #1 blues club in the United States now, or maybe the world. I don't even know, but it's that popular and that significant, and people who have not really paid attention to it probably should. So, you know, when we talk about the you know, Mississippi being the birthplace of American music, you know, the king of rock and roll was from here, the father of country music is from here, the king of blues is from here. You got some good fodder to work with, don't you, Craig?
We do, and it makes it, I wouldn't say easy, but you respect where you are in the space. Again, that no one else has Elvis Presley, no one else had B.B. King, and no one else had Jimmy Rogers, and then all of our gospel and our blues artists that we had. It's a place of respect. I'm on the Blues Commission, have been since its inception, and I'm the current chairman of the Blues Commission, which I'm honored to serve, and just enjoy every opportunity that we can to either do research and develop another marker or create space for new marketing ideas. But it's amazing to walk in those steps, and Elvis Presley and Jerry Lee Lewis. I mean, one of our tasks, I know I'm rambling here, but we have so much to cover when we just talk about trails, but we try to, in each category, Freedom Trail, Blues Trail, Country Music Trail, Writers Trail, when we can, when the artists are still alive, we try to get to those artists first. Now, most of those blues artists, we had, you know, Bo Diddley, Pinetop Perkins, let's see, Hubert Summerlin, B.B. King, obviously, all of his markers, trying to get to those artists. I say early, they were in their 80s and 90s when we did it. And then my most recent one, which Jerry Lee Lewis can fit into just about every category, from blues, country, and rock and roll, gospel. We selected and let him select that he wanted to be in our country music category. And we unveiled his marker from his living room in Nesbitt, Mississippi. He has a museum at the house where he had lived. He lives in a condo down the street now. And to be there in his living room with his grand piano, where he's written hundreds of songs and performed, or recorded and performed, that was amazing. And to have that moment that we could share for people to see, that is it's not easy. It's hard to work with Jerry Lee Lewis, but to know that he called and wanted to be on our trail. I mean, he wanted to be in our trails program and be a part of what we're doing and being recognized. That is fun. That is and challenging for us, but it's so rewarding to be able to share that with other Mississippians and travelers from around the world.
I think I may have mentioned this to you before, but I was at my place in the Delta, and one of my friends who hunts with me bought a duck hole. It has a little camp on it and a hardwood bottom on it. Really actually pretty cool. And I said, man, this huge block of land that's around, a lot of farmland and whatever. This is outside of Itta Bena, and we take the ride around, and we rounded the corner, and there's this old community, and there is a blues marker for B.B. King. That was his birthplace of B.B. King. And dude, this is in the middle of nowhere, Craig. You know that.
Berkeley, yeah, where his house was located, where he was born.
Man, you guys leave no stone unturned in making sure that correct history is told. What a great story. Hey, this is Craig Ray from Visit Mississippi. When we come back on the other side, we'll continue our conversation and see what the heck else is up these days. There's so much to talk about. We'll see you after this break.
Listen live or on demand and watch episodes of Coast Vue on your laptop, desktop, or on your phone or tablet by going to SuperTalkMSGulfCoast.com.
Hey, guess what? Bob is back, now at 106.3, playing the 80s, 90s, and whatever.
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Check us out, the new Bob 106.3.
Feeling down? Here's your prescription for a daily dose of good news and positive vibes. Good Things with Rebecca Turner. Every afternoon, Rebecca highlights all the good things happening right here in the state you call home. Daily exposure to Good Things with Rebecca Turner may cause smiling, feelings of positivity, happiness, and even laughter. When you experience these symptoms, tell your friends to listen.
Okay.
Weekdays starting at 2 p.m. here on SuperTalk Mississippi, and now on Amazon Alexa devices.
Hey South Mississippi, the future has arrived. It's 2021, and at J. Allen Toyota, we're here to serve you. Want to let you know that we have Allen's lifetime warranty on every new Toyota we sell. That also comes with Toyota Care. That's 2 years and 25,000 miles of complimentary maintenance. We have a great rental department. Our service department's ready to take care of your current vehicle. We're rolling out J. Allen certified pre-owned for 2021. You got to come to I-10 exit 38 right here in Gulfport. You're going to love what we have to offer. When you think Toyota, think Allen Toyota.
Get the scoop on what happened in college football and what to expect in the NFL. Each Sunday on Sports Sunday with Michael Borky. Get the story behind the stats, 8 to 10 a.m. on SuperTalk Mississippi, supertalk.fm, and watch the show on supertalk.tv. SuperTalk Mississippi. We're more than just words. This is where the story of your state is told. Proud to cover the Magnolia State like nobody else. SuperTalk Mississippi.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking very hard to find PPE items to make our community a safer place. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. They were even sending thousands of dollars of PPE supplies free to local schools in need with help from other local business leaders. The next time your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider a local company that supports your ball teams, cheerleaders, and area homeless. Consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply, the local guys that keep your prices fair, your service and selection excellent, and your health our business. Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
SuperTalk Mississippi.
From outer space, visitors from another world. We've had contact with bug-eyed monsters.
This is actually a flying saucer.
Flying saucer?
I'm from another planet.
Where late nights are kind of weird.
Well, they must have a reason for their visit.
The unexplained, the weird, and the downright creepy. Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. Late nights. SuperTalk Mississippi.
Hey, I'm Steve Azar, and you never know who or what you'll hear when I spend a Mississippi Minute with my friends. Talking to Paul Thorne, Mississippi true treasure, really incredible recording artist, singer, songwriter, has been doing it a long time, doing it the right way.
It's almost like a Forrest Gump thing because, I was a boxer, / I worked in a furniture factory, / I had a gig 2 nights a week playing my acoustic guitar in a pizza restaurant, / I was in the National Guard, and, all this stuff was going on at the same time. / I had a writing contract with Rick Hall and Fame.
In a Mississippi Minute. Be sure to check out In a Mississippi Minute with me, Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi, the SuperTalk Mississippi app, and now available on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show. Every day, we're driving the debate in America with the fastest moving, hardest hitting, most comprehensive fact-based commentary on the radio. We don't hold back. We never shy away from telling you the truth. Our show is a meeting place of ideas. We have the most important guests and the biggest thinkers in America.
Weeknights at 9.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show
on SuperTalk Mississippi. SuperTalk Mississippi.
Just seems to me people have so much invested in not telling the truth.
When you want the truth.
Simply because it might hurt some feelings.
And nothing but the truth.
Lose some subscribers.
You want the Gallo Radio Show.
I just think in this audience, you still believe that if you tell the truth, you come out ahead.
The Gallo Radio Show.
And if you tell yourself otherwise, you're lying to yourself.
Mornings on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Hey, guess what? Bob is back, now at 106.3, playing the 80s, 90s, and whatever.
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Check us out, the new Bob 106.3.
And now, it's Coast Vue with Ricky Mathews. Brought to you by J. Allen Toyota and AGJ Systems and Networks on SuperTalk 103.1 FM.
Welcome back to Coast Vue. One of the things that occurred to me, Craig, as I was thinking about this during the break, is that the way that I personally got introduced to the Blues Trail was we used to hunt with a friend. His name is Lee Abraham. He's a lawyer and sort of a entrepreneur in the Greenwood area. And we were headed on Money Road out to he's got a hunting place out down Money Road. And we would constantly pass that Robert Johnson Blues Trail marker. And I got really interested in understanding. I'd heard people talk about the Blues Trail, but it just, I've been in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. It just wasn't registering the way that it should. So we spent a little time studying that. And from then on, I just became enamored. And I think that it probably touches people in that same way, that, they see a little bit, it opens up some exploration. And then once you open up the exploration, you can't help but wonder about what's the impact. Hey, one thing that people in coastal Mississippi should understand is that the Blues Trail is not sort of a North Mississippi Delta thing. There are blues markers here in coastal Mississippi, aren't there, Greg?
They're all over the state. The majority are in the Delta states, but we've from Tupelo all the way down to the Gulf Coast to Hattiesburg, Natchez, Vicksburg, Columbus, literally every region of the state, majority in the Delta, but yes, all the way down to the Gulf Coast.
That's pretty cool. So, look, as we get into the holiday season, tell me more about the kind of things you guys are thinking about.
Well, we're really excited, as I mentioned earlier, about the opening of the international travel. We probably won't see the international impact until the spring. Once an international traveler plans their trip, they're usually 3 to 6 months out. So we're looking forward to, as we did during COVID, was plan ahead, get everything ready for when the doors do open from the international side, but also our southern, regional, and national travelers here to Mississippi. And so a recent stat that I love to share with you and your listeners, Ricky, is that this is from U.S. Travel Association, which is our national travel association of Washington, D.C. And they show that travel spending in Mississippi was up 24% in September of this year compared to 2019. We just skipped the pandemic year. We just have deleted that number for many of our comparisons. And 2019 was a record year for us. So up 24% in the month of September, with travelers spending $1 billion in that month alone in Mississippi. So
good Lord.
So that was September numbers. So we're in November now, and we're just getting through the holiday season. Is a great time for us, but it's not our largest number of travelers. You know, we're more in the spring and middle of summertime. So those are incredible numbers for Mississippi. So as we're looking to the Thanksgiving and the holiday season, we just came off a record-breaking mistletoe marketplace here in Jackson, which is not just a Jackson Mississippi Junior League event. It is a regional Christmas trade show at the Trade Mart in Jackson. They had record numbers over 3 days, had people coming in, vendors from 18 states, record number of dollars that they will, that the Junior League raises back to and gives to local charities. But what that did for those days, it was like, I think around a $15 million impact in Jackson and vicinity for hotel rooms and restaurants and what that generated. But it really kicks off the season here in Jackson for the holiday season. And we look to support, the whole state. There's so many towns that have wonderful Christmas programs and parades and events like I know that they have on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. And we just had a premiere of a new Christmas movie that was made in Natchez that will be on Hallmark. I think it'll be released here in the next week or so. Similar to the Christmas movie that was made on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, same producer, Daniel Lewis, made I would say a similar movie in Natchez, as a lot of our Christmas movies have the same themes, and it's all ends on a good note. But I would say right now, as we're going to the holiday season for here in Mississippi, sports marketing is so popular. So to have two of our teams very active in the bowl picture, a lot of enthusiasm going into the holidays and see where they end up bowl season and high school sports. And of course, with the holiday season is Christmas shopping, dining, and our restaurants during the season is a huge revenue generator for all of our CVBs, all of our DMOs around the state. They live and thrive off those numbers for their local tourism sales taxes. So, yeah, it's a big time of the year for us. We're just seeing a lot of activity, a lot of built-up demand, pent-up demand for not only travel but getting out to shop, spend, and dine. So we're excited about the season.
Hey, on the Christmas movie, incidentally, my friend is almost like a son to me, Jake Carter, who hunts and fishes with me and my sons and has for many years. He has a wonderful young family, and his daughters Ava and Bella were in that movie, and they were up in Nashville for the premiere. And it's just exciting. It's good for the state of Mississippi. The one that came from the coast, I mean, it played and played and played, and it created such a wonderful sense of the place that we have here. And I'm assuming that the Natchez movie would do exactly the same thing.
They had On the Bluff in Natchez, if you've been to Natchez recently, but out on the bluff that overlooks the river on the northwest side of town. They had 2,000 people gather and had this huge outdoor screen for the unveiling and viewing of this movie this past weekend. So 2,000 people watching and kicking off the holiday season. So it was exciting. I'm anxious to see how the film does on Hallmark, but it will shed another good light on Mississippi.
Yeah. So remind people, Visit Mississippi, which is a department within the Mississippi Development Authority. Remind people what your goal is. What is Visit Mississippi all about?
I mean, it's real simple. Ultimately, we want more people to travel to Mississippi in every different facet that we've talked about on the show today, from music, culinary, group travel, international travel, sports tourism, to come and visit the state, visit their families, have a great time, stay longer than they did the first time they came, and spend more money investing here in the state. That's kind of those are the numbers that we drive off that allows us to work in so many different areas. So we want people to come to the state. Our number one driver is hospitality. You talked about that early when you're visiting with Bill Luckett and talking about what brings people to the state and keeps them coming back. It's our hospitality. Once people have been here, have a great experience, they come back in record numbers. So our goal is to continue to compete. Tourism is a competitive sport. We compete with our neighboring states with not only local and domestic travelers, but on international travelers. We tend to share more of those as those international travelers are staying for 2 to 3 weeks at a time and visiting more parts of the South. But we're in the business of bringing people here and helping them create and find great experiences here in Mississippi with all the products that we have, and educating them on what we do have and how they can get to those places. And along the way, we create and share this great image of Mississippi that we know is our home and how special it is. So we're not only marketing to the world through digital, radio, video, audio, welcome centers, however we can, but also to promote our image of Mississippi as we see it to interpret.
So it's an important goal, and the results sort of speak for themselves. And I told you, I think maybe the last time we talked, I had just gone to see Azar's Mockingbird Songwriters Festival in Leland at the
great
gym.
Event.
And
yes.
It was awesome. Well, it was a great event. Just terrific. But I saw those students they were all traveling together from Northeast, the Northeast, at Maine or somewhere in that area. Some, I think, went to Harvard. But they flew into, they flew into Jackson, and they drove to Leland, and they did the Songwriters Music Festival. And I visited with them because I was intrigued by how did they find this place, in the middle of nowhere in the Mississippi Delta, and where were they going from here? And they were headed to New Orleans. It was just kind of part of this tour that they were taking during the summer. But it's pretty cool to see those kind of impacts. Somebody told me the other day, they said, and Fofo and I have talked about this many times. City of Biloxi, for example, had 4 months in a row with over $100 million in revenue. People say, well, that's because you had all that new federal money and and people had, paying unemployment. I said, no, if that's true, other communities would have been doing really well too. Mississippi's recovery is some of the best in the United States. And when you look at why that is, tourism was a major driver of that, especially here in coastal Mississippi. But when we come back, I actually am going to shift gears a bit. I want to talk about the Thanksgiving season, what you're thankful for, Craig, as we get into the holidays. What does it mean to you? We'll come back to that on the other side. We'll see you after this break.
You can also listen live to SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1 on your Amazon Alexa devices. Once you've enabled the skill, just say, Alexa, open SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast.
Hey, guess what? Bob is back, now at 106.3, playing the 80s, 90s, and whatever.
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Check us out, the new Bob 106.3.
Hey South Mississippi, it's Jay Allen at Jay Allen Toyota, and I got something new for you for 2021. It's the Jay Allen Certified Collection. What that means is we selected our very best inventory with under 75,000 miles and they're 6 years old or newer. That comes with a multi-point inspection, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and a 3-day buyback guarantee. So come check out the Jay Allen Certified Pre-Owned Collection right here I-10 exit 38 in Gulfport or on allentoyota.com.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking hard-to-find PPE items. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. When your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
SuperTalk Mississippi, your new home for the Ben Shapiro Show.
We don't hold back. We never shy away from telling you the truth.
The most electrifying national talk show on air today.
We have the most important guests and the biggest thinkers in America.
Ben Shapiro, brutally breaking down the issues of the day.
From politics to pop culture, we take a look at all of it. So don't miss out.
Weeknights at 9.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show.
On SuperTalk Mississippi.
SuperTalk Mississippi. Just seems to me people have so much invested in not telling the truth. When you want the truth. Simply because it might hurt some feelings. And nothing but the truth. Lose some subscribers. You want the Gallo Radio Show. I just think in this audience, you still believe that if you tell the truth, you come out ahead. The Gallo Radio Show. And if you tell yourself otherwise, you're lying to yourself. Mornings on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Thousands of Bulldog fans have subscribed to the Thunder and Lightning podcast. Have you? On each episode, Brian Haydad and Joel Coleman give you an inside look at your Mississippi State Bulldogs. The Thunder and Lightning podcast is free and available on demand at supertalk.fm and on your smartphone. Just search for Thunder and Lightning on iTunes, Google Play, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. Thunder and Lightning from SuperTalk Mississippi, covering the Bulldogs like no one else.
Hey, I'm Steve Azar, and you never know who or what you'll hear when I spend a Mississippi Minute with my friends. We're talking to Dale Berra. Take me back to growing up and what it was like in the household with a dad like Yogi Berra.
You know, we grew up with his funny sayings. You know, I remember Dad managing the Mets, and me, Larry, and Timmy are watching the game on TV. And all of a sudden, two streakers run out of the stands on TV, and the camera flips away from them. So when he gets home, me, Larry, and Timmy say, "Hey, Dad, those streakers, what were they, boys or girls? We need to know." And Dad looked us right in the eye and said, "I couldn't tell. They had bags over their heads."
In a Mississippi Minute. Be sure to check out In a Mississippi Minute with me, Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi, the SuperTalk Mississippi app, and now available on iTunes, Google Play.
Hey, guess what? Bob is back, now at 106.3, playing the 80s, 90s, and whatever.
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Check us out, the new Bob 106.3.
Talking to the people that help make the coast such a unique place to live. This is Coast Vue with Ricky Mathews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to Coast Vue in this Thanksgiving season, and the holidays are heating up here in Mississippi. And I want my friend Craig Ray to join me again, and I want to hear what Thanksgiving means to him and all of that. But before we do this, I think this is important information you need to have, and that is that Governor Reeves had set a goal for visitors for the state of Mississippi of 30 million visitors. And of course, we have COVID that came into play and all of that. Mississippi's doing quite well in that regard. And what would you have to say about that before we go into the Thanksgiving conversation?
Yes, before COVID, we had a record year for visitors, 24.7 million, 185,000 of those were international travelers. $6.87 billion were spent in expenditures Governor Reeves had set us in a bigger picture of 35 million long-term, but our first goal through there is 30 million. So our neighboring states had 29 million visitors in that same year, Alabama, and we feel we can get to 30 with our ultimate goal, 35 million within the next 2 to 3 years.
Wow, that is incredible, and congratulations on the
foot on the
progress.
accelerator.
Just say it again.
I said our foot's on the accelerator.
Well, it's clear that it has been, especially during the pandemic, and that's important, and it's paid off. That is for sure. So we're in the Thanksgiving season. What does it mean to you, Craig? And tell me about Thanksgiving and the holiday season at your house.
Thanksgiving for me and our family growing up, I'm one of 5 kids. My mom was oldest of 7 kids. So as we grew older and everybody spread out with their careers and their families, but it was always all we could do, even if it wasn't Christmas, but to come home for Thanksgiving and to be together, just being together, having fun and shopping wherever we were, whether it was here in Jackson or getting together somewhere. But so great food, obviously watching sports, cheering for your favorite team, but really as time has gone forward and we've all spread out and we're with our family, but I've always enjoyed Thanksgiving even more than Christmas. There's no pressure on gifts and who's getting what and this and that, but I really have enjoyed Thanksgiving time, and we'll do it again this year. Our family is spread out. I have a brother in Arizona, a sister in Dallas, another sibling in Atlanta, Georgia, and most of my relatives are from up north in the Illinois area on my mom's side. So we're all spread out. But this year I'm going to Dallas with my daughter Emma to visit my sister, and we're going to do much of that. Just shop, play a little golf, watch a lot of football, and eat a lot of great food. So family time and being together is what Thanksgiving means to me.
That is so cool to hear. And for your staff, I'm assuming that you guys are kind of take a few days off and take a deep breath and give everyone the opportunity to give thanks. Is that essentially the routine there?
We do that with the ultimate goal of not making fun of either side of the fence, since we are split about half and half, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and everybody's really nice until they get home from the holidays, and whoever wins, it's a full week of jibber jabbing on the teams. But yes, I would say much the same for our team and staff and all of our employees out at the welcome centers around the state. We have about 45 employees out, and try to give our team out there a couple days off during the holidays, even though it's a busy time for travelers. Usually people are not traveling on Thanksgiving Day or the day after. So we try to give all of our team some time off and be together with their families and celebrate how they choose.
I didn't think about this before, but you have all these people coming in from all over the United States into Mississippi. The purpose obviously is to come in and have Thanksgiving dinner or during the holidays to come in and enjoy being with their family during the holidays. But what a great opportunity to kind of impress them, to say, you know what, you ought to come back. You ought to come back during these key events along the way. Do you see this as an opportunity to touch people?
I think the natural draw for people to visit family is there. Family travel is in probably just about any state is a part of their advertising, to bring family homecomings, family get-togethers, weddings, Christmas, Thanksgiving. And so surely if they can have a great time while they're here visiting family and relatives, and to bring them back for those great experiences, and they had a wonderful time, had great hospitality, it sure fits in with our tourism strategy. We want them to enjoy Mississippi while they're here visiting their relatives. So it surely is a big part of what we do.
Well, Craig Ray, Director of Visit Mississippi for the Mississippi Development Authority, thank you for your years of commitment to the state of Mississippi and the tourism. And, hope you have a great holiday season. I hope Mississippi continues to hit these incredible numbers. And as you say, we keep our foot on the accelerator and we meet Governor Reeves' goals of having so many visitors come to the state. It's been a pleasure to visit with you, man.
Well, thanks for having me. It's looking forward to a great holiday season. Our legislative session this year is going to be exciting with the distribution of our $1.8 billion, and I know the tourism industry will be sharing in some of those funds. I'd love to come back maybe in January and talk about how that plays out. And
for sure.
We have some great opportunities and some investments in our welcome centers, our trails program, our state parks. So we'd love to be able to get back together with you and share that good news.
Very exciting, Craig Ray. It's been a pleasure. I hope everyone continues to take a pause and give thanks. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Rick.
Follow SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1 on Facebook. Facebook.com/SuperTalk MS Coast 103.1.